Well, I thought I'd give you a quick update. Take a look at the new digs just for one night. It's a little place called Jerusalem Suites. More stairs. I tell you what, this town is on a hill. It is up or down, mostly up. It feels like this place is always uphill. Oh, so many steps today. So, oh man, the keys work different here too. Holy moly. Holy moly, I am beat. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah. Holy moly. Hold on, give me 1 second. Oh. All right, well, updates for everybody. Getting a little bit of a cold, I think. I've been taking vitamin C, taking juice. Holy moly. Oh my goodness gracious. I have walked all day. So on Sunday nights, I do a Bible study that's 6 o'clock Utah time, Mountain Standard Time, which makes it 3 a.m. on Monday here in Jerusalem. And it was our last class, and I really didn't want to miss it. So I got up early, 2 a.m. here, tried to walk to a place that had Wi-Fi, and a bunch of the places that were possibly going to be open were closed due to shutdown and stay-in orders. And so I went to a coffee shop and was just going to kind of sit close to it, hoping I could have Wi-Fi, and it just didn't work. So my backup plan was to go to a hotel that was near the Jaffa Gate that we did a breakfast one time, really nice little hotel right there by Jaffa, because as part of the class, I wanted to take my camera phone and just kind of turn it and say, look where I'm at, right outside the old city. Well, I get to the hotel, it is Fort Knox. The gate is closed, barred up. There's no way getting in this thing after hours. Now, I'm sure if I stay in there, maybe there's a way to call the front desk and they'll let you in, verify it's you, but just somebody kind of trying to use the Wi-Fi. So I went to like 2 other hotels in the area. All of them were just, no night watch. You have to get a code to get in or something like that. So I'm like, okay. So I log into the group, let everybody else join, and then I just had to jump off the call because I couldn't use my data for a Google Meet for a 2-hour class. So I figured, I'm sorry guys, just gonna miss it. I did everything I could. I got up early. I walked probably 1.5 miles before the class started, and then had to truck it all the way back to the condo. And on the way back, the bombs went off. So they'll send you alarms in certain areas where there's a high risk of something, and sure if they went crazy. And I started seeing people running kind of all over, coming out of rooms, coming out of condos. And I started thinking, man, this is like California when an earthquake goes off. If the locals don't do much, then they know it's just a little burp. But when the locals start running around, I'm like, okay, that alert means a little more than just be alert. They actually went to a bomb shelter. So last night I go to the closest bomb shelter where I'm at. There's maybe 40 of us in there plus some kids. And it was interesting just watching everybody, their reactions, the different reactions, what was going on. And within maybe 3 minutes, the loudest booms went off since I've been here in Jerusalem. We've heard booms, we've seen stuff in the sky. This was a pretty good sounding boom, and it went on for a while, boom, 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 But it was definitely south of us. It wasn't in town, but the loudest, most consistent sounds were going off south of us. And so we come out of the bomb shelter, and everybody's kind of figuring, okay, do we go back, waiting for the alerts, waiting all this kind of stuff. So we just and this is about 4 a.m. here at this point. And then we end up just kind of staying outside, and we look up to the sky, kind of where you could see the most sky, but then we kind of turn around behind us and look behind us where you can't see as much. There's these 2 streaks of light that were through, where 2 missiles had zipped through the clouds, and they left a trail that the city lights were reflecting from underneath. It was beautiful in a weird way. I mean, it was just like, whoa, because it would just glowed. Obviously, those are meant for destruction. Those bombs probably, who knows what they destroyed, what they, if they got intercepted, I don't know. But they were quick. They probably did some damage in the south. And then the 2 of them started to come together and form this shape. And I'm sitting there looking up at it, and it almost looks like a person. I mean, like a head and shoulders. And the way it was the smoke was just kind of swirling And one of the guys there looked up and started yelling Mashiach, which is Messiah in Hebrew. And I'm like, oh, okay, And it kind of dissipated and went away. It wasn't anything like Jesus, like the face of Jesus. I'm not saying anything like that, but it was interesting. Their reaction to see that was Mashiach. And we sat there for a little bit. People started to leave that were okay. Some stuck around. One guy had a guitar, and they had little hair, the Jewish kids would have the thing on the hat. They were from, I think, the States somewhere. After talking with them for a little bit, I can't remember if they said New York or New Jersey. But they still had a pretty strong accent. So I think they were still born here, but visited there and then came back, kind of go back and forth. And they started playing a song on this little guitar. It was a little different than a guitar, but basically it sounded like a guitar, a lute or whatever it's called. But they started kind of, clapping. And it was not crazy because it was still 4 a.m, but it was pretty interesting little scene to see. I thought that was pretty powerful. My mom's going to see this video and be disappointed. I talked to her a little bit. I don't want to say it was scary yet, but it's real. Some other updates. We have had the hardest time keeping an airline reservation out of Jordan. So our plan tomorrow is to get to Jordan, so that way as soon as something opens up, we can at least be on a plane and get out of here. Because every single time we check it, we book it, it gets canceled, gets posted again at a higher price, or just gets canceled completely. Then today, after we got back from all this walking we did today, they said the airport was closed. So we're like, oh no, now it's closed down further past the 24th. So I was originally supposed to come home on June 21st. Now we're just trying to find any flight that can get us out of here, but we have to go to Jordan, which isn't the safest crossing. And there's issues there. We had to go to the embassy and get some approvals, and because it's a little tricky getting there, then we have to switch to a different driver on that side. And then we still have to go to Amman and stay probably for at least a night or two. At this point, we don't know if it's going to be 1 night, 6 nights, if they're going to shut that one down. So we did think about going to Cairo, but apparently that's even harder to get to that point, but it's probably a little further away from the action and where missiles are crossing over between these countries. But it's harder to get there, the border crossing, going closer to Palestine. The guy I'm with, he works at the embassy, and he says we don't want to go that route. If we have to, we have to, but we're better off trying to go to the Jordan route. So thanks for everybody checking in. It is what it is. I don't know what else to say. I did do my little fundraiser to help raise some funds to get here. Some people have donated to help because of the cost of everything, more hotels. Had to cancel some, waiting for refunds. Don't know if they're going to give us a full cancellation. We booked a couple airlines that have been canceled. We don't know when that's going to get refunded. The gouging that's probably happening right now, just with the limited, the limited flights. We're in a war zone. I mean, that's all I can say is I'm east of most of where the major fighting is happening, at least in Israel. Obviously, east of me is Iraq and Iran, so they're getting bombed over there. But as far as what's been really hit, most of the videos you're seeing are in Tel Aviv or Haifa, which is more on the coast, the ports. That seems to be the area they have focused so far. And Israel has done an incredible job of knocking out some of their bases and some of their ways to retaliate. That's been the big news that we keep hearing, is how good of a strike that first one was to minimize the retaliation capabilities of Iran. But every single day that we get kind of bad news, we think we have it figured out. We don't have it figured out. My mom's worried sick. My wife seems to be okay so far, but I mean, the longer this drags on, the more she's getting nervous, I can tell. And plus, she's just home alone and been working and doing all kinds of stuff in the heat. It's pretty hot. She's got all these horses coming through, and I'm not there to help. So I asked for just prayers for my mother and my wife, especially my mother. They're very, very nervous. I really thank everybody that's checked in. I'm safe so far. I think I'm away from where the heavy fighting has been. Last night was probably the scariest as far as how close everything sounded. Just how it doesn't seem like it's quite over yet as far as any kind of retaliation from Iran. But love you guys. Miss Southern Utah. This is a beautiful country. There's so many things I've enjoyed about it. Everything that we went to see has strengthened my faith, has strengthened my resolve, and some of the things I want to learn, some of the places I didn't know enough about, like Masada was incredible. Need to learn a little more about that. But to walk in some of these places where my Savior walked, just the realness of it. I love the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, going through that, and just that was really life-changing. I don't know any other way to say it, but life-changing. Or confirming the path I'm trying to go on to get a little bit more involved in my content for my Bible Nerd channel and to be able to do that. I met a bunch of people. I got their business cards. They want to come on. I met a guy at the Bible Society. I think we can have some great conversations. I met a couple tour guides that were willing to, maybe jump on and have some fun there once I can get back and once they're available. But I didn't mean for this to be such a long update, but it's been a while and a lot of people are checking in. Some people have donated. I really appreciate that. I don't know what that's going to look like when I get done and the cost to get done. I mean, the airfare just keeps going up every single time we book it, and then it cancels. So tomorrow is going to be a new day. We're supposed to at least leave and get to Jordan tomorrow, if that's still our plan, which could change at any moment. So pray for Israel. Pray for the fighting to end. These are such a beautiful people here. I've really enjoyed my time here and the sights we've been able to see. We got cut short to be able to see the stuff in Galilee. And Capernaum and stuff up north. We obviously missed that, but I really got a lot out of what I saw here in the Holy City. But again, pray for my wife, pray for my mother, very worried. And if you can, I'll post again the link to help with a little bit of fundraising. I mean, I don't know what this is going to cost and how long it's going to take to recuperate. I'm not able to work. Wi-Fi's been really spotty and trying to kind of keep some files moving, that type of stuff. It's just really hard when you're over here, and I don't know how long I'm going to be stuck. So hopefully news tomorrow on what we're doing. If we get to Jordan, get to where we can get to an airport that's supposedly open, or hopefully will be open the soonest, and then we'll give you another update from there. So hope you have a wonderful day. God bless. Love everybody. See you soon.